Hello, welcome back to another Sunday School Bible class. Today we are on a lesson entitled The Story of Job and the Issue of Suffering. Today's lesson takes place in the Old Testament, at least 1,000 or more years before the birth of Jesus Christ in the New Testament. A man by the name of Job, who was very good, respected God very much, and hated evil, was blessed by God to have 7 sons, 3 daughters, much cattle, and much wealth. When Job's children grew to adulthood, Job made it his business to offer God sacrifices, not just for himself, but also for his sons and daughters, just in case they sinned against God. One day, the devil came into God's presence in heaven, and God bragged to the devil about how Job served God so faithfully and would not sin against God. But the devil accused Job of being good only because God blessed him with healthy sons and daughters and many servants and much wealth. The devil told God if he took away the blessings, Job would curse him. God told the devil to do whatever he wanted to everything that belonged to Job, but told the devil he could not touch Job. Satan caused different disasters to hit Job's property in one day, which killed all of Job's sons, daughters, most of his servants, and his cattle. Job had no idea why this was happening to him, and did not know that God was allowing the devil to test him. Yet in all of this, Job still would not curse God, but realized that all that he had came from God, and what God gives, God has the right to take away. Job said, "Blessed be the name of the Lord." Again, the devil presented himself before God, and again God asked him to notice that Job had not cursed him. The devil said that if something were to happen to Job's health, then he would curse God. God gave the devil permission to afflict Job, but not to take his life. So the devil gave Job boils, which are painful sores all over his body. Job's wife was so bitter and angry by all these terrible tragedies that she told Job to curse God and die. Job told her that she talked like a foolish woman, pointing out that we should not expect God to always give us good things. We must accept the troubles in life as well. Because Job was well known throughout the land, 3 men who knew Job and professed to be his friends came to visit him and were supposed to comfort him concerning all his tragedy. Job was in so much anguish, pain, and sorrow for the loss of his daughters and his sons, and was in such great discomfort from all the sores on his body that he cried and wished that he was never born. After a week, Job's friends began a long discussion with Job in which they accused him of sinning against God, insisting that that is why these things were happening to him. Job knew that he had not sinned against God, yet he knew that God is good, but could not understand why this was happening to him. Soon another young man joined in, and like the others, he joined the discussion but did not support or comfort Job. As the discussion continued, Job painfully declared that they were not only wrong about accusing him of sinning, but they were not the experts on God they pretended to be. They made the mistake of teaching that God allows suffering only to people who sin, and God rewards only people who are good. That is not true. They were representing or describing God the wrong way. They were stating that they always knew why God did things or allowed things to happen the way He does. However, they were wrong. God does allow good, innocent people to suffer. And God also allows bad people to enjoy good things. Job told them that they were not true friends because instead of showing compassion for Job by trying to help and encourage him, they were judging and criticizing him. Through all this long discussion, Job repeatedly stated he believed that he would be resurrected from the dead and would see God someday, and he held on to this faith and did not curse God, nor did he turn from believing in God. However, Job, in all his anguish, cried out and described what it felt like to be treated this way by God. He wanted a fair audience with God so he could plead his cause to God. God finally spoke to Job out of a whirlwind, and by his display of power and his questions to Job regarding creation, to which Job could not answer, God helped Job realize how little he knew, how weak and small and insignificant he was compared to God. God helped Job realize that only God is sovereign, and only he has the right to do as he pleases without anyone questioning him. We are his servants, and he can do to us as he pleases. Job realized this and told God he was wrong to question God, and confessed that he should not have spoken as he did. He told God he was ashamed of himself and that he repented. Then God angrily rebuked Job's friends for speaking incorrectly about him. He told them that Job had spoken correctly of God, and that they now must offer up sacrifices for their wrong. God told them he would not accept their prayer, but that they must go to Job and ask him to pray for them, otherwise God would punish them. Then God blessed Job and gave him twice as much as he had before, and 7 more sons and 3 more daughters, and Job lived to see his great-great-grandchildren. In this story and other places in the Bible, we learn that there can be many reasons for suffering. Sometimes it is an experience that God allows us to go through so that we can become stronger and wiser. Other times it can be to show others the benefit of trusting God while we suffer, so that they would come to trust God as well. There are times when we can suffer for our stubbornness and foolishness by not taking precautions and refusing to accept truth about things that are happening. For example, if our officials tell us to evacuate or prepare for a terrible storm and we refuse, then we will suffer terrible consequences. But this suffering was our own fault. Some suffering can be the result of sin, such as when a person steals something and has to pay the penalty, or when someone acts irresponsibly by drinking or smoking and gets into an accident or gets sick. However, when we see someone else suffering and we don't really know why they are suffering, we must not be so quick to judge them as sinful, because that's the mistake that Job's friends made. The point of this story is that God does not always tell us why he does what he does, but our duty is to trust him no matter what he does. See you next time. Bye-bye.